Hi, this is Susan. I wanted to share this chair that I'm making. It's for my castle, and I went ahead and started on it because I don't know how to edit. Y'all know that about me. And this would just go on forever. So I just wanted to show you the bones of it and how it turns out and all the steps in between. Okay, so first I started out with a drawing. Gotta have a drawing. And I looked at a whole bunch of different kinds of medieval, well, they call them Renaissance chairs, but I was thinking it would be real simplistic. The only other chair that I could come up with, which was interesting, is a chair that has, it actually folded. I didn't know that they had a folding chair back then. It was called a camp chair, and they used them out, when they were out in their tents, I guess going to war or whatever, and they actually folded, because you kind of wonder, how did they take all that furniture out there and have a tent and the whole setup? So anyway, they had a folding chair, and it's that kind that curves up on each side. And so anyway, we'll look into that. I think I'll make that next. But this one, I have this dragon. Now, the problem is, this has not been 24 hours yet, so it's still tacky, and I couldn't use it. So, like, one of those things where I'm running out of the cardboard I used, everything going on. So, I still have to wait on that, and I don't have time to wait because I need to show you the castle. So, this is my drawing, and I wanted to use the dragon because I kind of have the dragon theme going on. And so, I was looking at doing a chair that had this kind of a mosque. I think of a mosque temple when I look at this design. So I thought that was kind of cool, and so I put that into this. This is the back piece, and so I have it on the sides. First I came across here, straight across, and then I thought, no, I'll put that mosque in the front as well. And so I've got the back, so I have it able to put the dragon into it. And then I just put some panels down here to kind of balance out because if your back is, you imagine you're sitting in this chair, your back would be hitting the dragon unless you had the panels. So if you don't want to use the dragon, then just come in here and put a panel. Or even, you could even cover these in fabric. Whatever you want to do. But it's a really simple build. And it turned out really good. So let me show you this in cardboard. Now the cardboard I'm using, I really am seriously running out. This is a 2mm, I guess they call this chipboard. It's something that came out of a picture frame that I just had stashed over. I guess it was one of my framed room boxes, and this was the cardboard that was, pushed into it. So I've got to look and find this, if anybody knows where to find this, that it's 2mm thickness, but I really liked it. Okay, so these are the pieces that I'd cut out, and this is what I copied them before I started in on it. So this side piece, the height is just shy of 3.5 inches across this side. And then, gosh, the back all the way down to the footing is 4.5 inches. And then you just need a seat that's going to go in it. So the seat is 2 3/8, something like that. And didn't use that piece. And those little back panels, you just cut those to fit. They're 1 1/4 by almost 3/4. And this is let's see, this is across here is just about, it's just shy of 2.5 inches. And these are 1 3/4 across here. But actually, if you notice, the this is going to come out to almost 2 inches. This comes out beyond the front of the chair, this arm. Now, imagine if you're sitting in the chair, you want to be comfortable with your arm, coming down beside you. And so your picture may, look different, but it's just super simple. This is the back. I just repeated this section right here for the front of the chair. So I just cut this full and then this section. And then 2 of these and a seat. And then the back panel, it's up to you what you want to use. And this piece is just for putting your cushion on. This is what the dragon pendant, it's a pendant and I used it elsewhere. But it's bronze and I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it's one of those Once Upon a Time, I think was the brand. And I don't know if they still carry it, but it was so popular. I think you could probably find it on eBay under one of the jewelry sellers. So, but you could use an owl. An owl would be good if you do an owl theme. Or a lion face might be, or even if you wanted to do skull and crossbones, that might work for, whatever your theme is. But I just wanted to share this with you because it's just so simple. And it's cardboard. So you can draw it up and then just cut your pieces out or just glue them onto cardboard and then cut them out. And you can use two layers of cereal box. Ought to be about 2 millimeters. 3 if you really want to go sturdy. Okay, so the first thing is all I do is just glue the sides to the back and the side, and then stabilize them by putting the seat piece in, and then I put the front piece. Now I'm trying to not mess with the glue. I'm such a big fan now of this detailing with the wood glue, and it gives you a relief if you put it along your edges. But you have to go slow. So you're going to want to watch a big long movie so that you have time to do all this. I watched some old, bottom of the sea kind of old movie, because if you try to do them all at once, then you end up, putting your fingers on part of it. And then gravity, you'll have to watch it as well, because gravity wants to kind of pull it down. So some parts you might want to set it upside down. And I also use the needle tool to kind of guide some of the glue. And see what I just did, as it gets skinny in some places, then you go back in and fill it in. But you'll see what this does at the end. Now, I did do this because that wasn't setting up fast enough. I was worried about that, so I made a clay one. This is just air dry clay, and it got ready, and I was afraid it wouldn't have the relief that the resin would have. But when you use these, this mold making, you can't use UV resin in it because it won't dry on the underside because it's not clear. So I need to get some of the clear mold making material. It's just down the road of all the supplies I need. But so you see I've put that there, and then I'm balanced out, when you put your back against a chair. Now up here, this piece right here is not in the directions particularly, or in this sheet. You see how this just kind of looks kind of pointy? So I thought, well, it does look kind of pointy, and it looks kind of, your eye doesn't stop at it. It doesn't look substantial for a kingly type chair. Mine's for a wizard. That's a clue, because I haven't told anybody it's a wizard, so don't tell anybody else that lives in my castle. So this is I just cut a strip off of the cardboard, the thick cardboard I'm using. I mean, literally, this is all I have left right here. But when I had a long piece, I cut just a strip out of it, long enough to go across the top. And then I'm just working the wood glue as a relief around it. And I even put a little bit of the wood glue in here to kind of seal that gap where I glued it on. And here's the back of the chair. It's really, I didn't do cardboard. I thought everything had to be done in wood. And I'm really getting into the cardboard thing. Now, see, it's going to drip a little bit or get thick in places. And you can go and cut it once it's dry. This isn't, and then this right here, I want to fill in that little tiny section because it doesn't balance with this side. And I even put it down here. And you could put it, just about anywhere on the chair. It's just to make it all look, and this will come out looking carved once this will be a carved looking piece, like it's carved into the chair after you paint it. Now I did put, the problem with that pendant also was it was kind of had a curve to it. So I had to almost break the wings. I broke one, but I didn't break the other to get it to lay flatter because I didn't. So you want to flatten it really well at the point where you take it out of the mold and let it dry. Flatten whatever piece you're using. Make sure it's good and flat so that it's going to fit against it. But I thought, well, I could fit wood glue around, kind of tuck it in with one of my brushes, the detail brush. Can kind of get into places. To kind of put some glue around it. We'll see if I need to, because what I've done is paint this. Now, when I was cutting out the second one to show you, I hadn't planned on doing this, but I thought, well, I might as well. And because I showed you the rugs that I was making. So I set my first one on the cardboard and drew around it. So unfortunately, that was not a good idea. Because now I have two missized chairs. Not so bad, though. I mean, I can cut this one down. But if you're going to make a second chair, make a copy of both. Do the print of both of them. And don't try to, copy this by, putting it on the cardboard and drawing around it. Because then you end up with a bigger chair. And you don't need mismatched. So, okay, so you see here's what it looks like. And you see the dragon's supposed to look. Do you think it looks carved? I don't know. Let me know if you think it looks carved into it. This one was resin. And we'll see how the air dry clay does. But see how the trim works. I could have, even worked at it more, but I wanted to finish that night. And since it's going to be in a busy castle room. But then I had some old leather. I just had a piece, so I made a little cushion to fit in it. So let me tell you how I painted it. Excuse me. I had this. First I did this honey brown. It's got some yellow in it, so you decide if you like the yellowness. Now that's really kind of close to, how yellow this is. But obviously that's not where I stopped because it's going to be a little darker when it dries. But actually there it is on the bottom. There's my name. So then I went to this Waverly wax and I lightly dry brushed, a little more than a dry brush. Well, first I take that back. No, wait. Let me back up. Okay, one coat of this. Then I put cornstarch into the mix of the second, to do a second coat. And the reason for that was I wanted it to be more like the rough wood, not so flat of a surface, but more a little bumpily, like they wouldn't have the planers and the sanders and the way that we get wood today. Theirs would be more rustic looking. And so I thought that the cornstarch did do that. It gave texture. And that's what putting it into the paint does, is give you thickness. and it makes walls look like, like they have joint compound on them, or plaster, I guess plaster for back then. So anyway, put cornstarch into your paint and then do a second coat with that. But you also kind of need to go light on the cornstarch, because I kept having to add water and then more paint because it was so thick. It was really thickening up. Okay, then you decide if you need, another layer. But then I went with the Waverly wax and dry brushed. And then it still looked real yellow, which is more than the other pieces of furniture. So I took a little bit of this red, or this brown that's got red in it that I always complain about, and I put it in a lot of water, and then I just did a wash over, and that gave it just a little more of the red tint, or even you could even say it's a little orangey. I may have put some of this into it. I'm not sure. I just don't remember. I keep working until the wee hours of the morning, and so I'm getting tired. But the wash did it after the Waverly wax. Then the wash, and that brought it to match the other pieces. And so that's a very simple, easy cardboard. I guess it's a throne, kind of but very rustic, medieval style that you might want to try if you're doing D&D or dioramas in that genre. Real simple. And let me know if you're having any trouble. But I like the way that this turned out. So I'm hoping that the air dry clay will do as well. And of course, like I said, you could put an owl there or anything else, whatever. I kind of think of this as the crest, like because in those days, medieval days, crests were a big thing. So you could put the typical British crest you see on I guess it's British, but the old world crest that you see on buttons. I've seen some. Let's see, I think I have one right here. So, yeah, they have lions. There it is. So, this one says honor. So, you could come up with something like this that would be nice for a crest. So, if you like this kind of content and you want to see the castle, please sign in and hit the like button. And any comments, or if you have any questions, please, send those to me. Love to hear from you. Love to be helpful. And so, I'll be showing you the castle. It's ready. It's ready to show. So, exciting. It'll be up in a couple of days. So, please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you.